Hey, good morning everyone. Mark, your motivation dealer, back with you this morning on a Wednesday morning. Happy Wednesday, everyone. All right, today, episode 281. Today, we're talking about never stop dreaming. This comes on the heels of yesterday's video. Kind of a similar concept, similar idea, just coming at it from a different direction. So, you've got to live the dream. You've got to eat the dream. You've got to sleep the dream. You've got to smell the dream. You've got to imagine the dream every single day. And so you've got to imagine yourself. Eric Thomas talks about having a dream party. You have to have a dream party every single day. I was thinking about this while I was getting ready for work in the morning. And I was thinking how, I need to make Rentec a $1 billion industry. I've got to help millions of people. And the way that I started thinking about that was starting with just the very first. So what I mean by that is I started thinking about this homeless vet that I imagined in my head. And I called him Joe. And I imagined Joe getting his first self-income generating, self-sustainable house from my company, from Rentec. And I imagined giving him the keys and, him shaking my hand and taking a picture and, having, media there. And I imagined how happy he was and how good it made me feel to give away this home simply because I sold 10 homes and freed up enough money to and donated 10% of all our company profits to putting Joe into his own home and providing him not only a roof over his head, but the dignity to earn a living using the computer and the solar power to power the computer. And he can do a simple data entry job with Upworks based on the relationship that we have. And he had an electric scooter that was charged from the solar on the roof and provided him transportation. So I imagined Joe now having a home that he could call his own. I imagined Joe having an income, both passive and active income. And I imagined Joe having transportation to get around and do the things that he needs to do. Go to the grocery store and take care of, daily tasks and things like that. So this is what was going through my mind. And then thinking from there, well, that's a great accomplishment. I've helped one person, but that's just the start. That's just the initial creation. Hey, Valerie, thanks for jumping on live. Now I'm imagining having an entire community of tiny homes and 50 of Joe, and having a community where I can provide the social services to get Joe past his PTSD and to get Joe past his addiction and get Joe, psychiatric help and, all of the things that are necessary to get Joe back on his feet. Since Joe put his life on the line for our country, for us to have the kind of life that we want to have, for me to have the kind of life that I currently have, takes Joe with a gun in his hand willing to fight for our freedom. And Joe should never be put out on the street. Joe should never be allowed to live under a tent and call that his home. Hey, good morning, RJ. Thanks for jumping on live again. Appreciate it. So we got 2 on live. That's fantastic. Valerie, RJ, thank you for jumping on live. Feel free to comment and feel free to dream with me. So you've got to dream, and you've got to dream big. You've got to imagine. You've got to see in your mind what you want to hold in your hand. You've got to see in your mind what you want to make come into reality. I need to be able to provide solutions to the world's greatest challenges. And if I have to do that one person at a time, so be it. If I can build entire communities, so be it. We actually started talking to a building manufacturer that may help us build our own Rentec tiny home. And build our own self-sustainable home that's, ours, custom designed for us. And if that happens, now we're talking multifamily homes. Now we can talk about things like, taking refugees like the Ukrainian refugees that have been spread out all over the world and, are put up in hotels and trying to figure out where to place these people. And now we can provide them solutions and homes of their own to live in. And, we can provide refugees of other places. We can provide, homeless solutions for here in the States and whatever country you live in. We can provide these solutions all around the world. So don't just dream small. Don't just think about helping out one person. Don't just think that's a start, and take that step toward that action. I'm gonna start with Joe, but I see past Joe. I see how I can help first hundreds of people and then thousands of people. Like, I talked about yesterday about, a woman in Africa who has to walk, 3 miles back and forth to get water from a local stream to provide for her family that unfortunately, most of the time has diseases in it. And, and they spend their money on, fighting these diseases that they're bringing back, but without the water, they can't survive. So I imagine myself providing an atmospheric water generator to this small community in Africa and provide them a constant, fresh source of clean water where they don't have to travel miles to get to it, and they don't have to drink disease-infested water, and they don't have to spend, all the money that they have on treating these waterborne illnesses. And I imagine places that don't have access to food, and I can provide them tower gardens, and I can provide them hydroponic solutions and farms where they can grow their own food in places that are inhospitable, in places that generally can't grow the food. And I can provide these solutions, and I can imagine one by one, and I can imagine small town after small town, and I can imagine going to large cities and helping with their homeless population and their water crisis throughout the entire city, and then on a country level and on a global level. But it all starts with that one person, and it all starts with that dream party. It all starts with it up here. If you can't see it up here, you're not going to see it out there. And that whole thing, I'll believe it when I see it, is bullshit. You don't believe it. You don't see it to believe it. You have to believe it to see it. You have to believe it in your mind first, and then you can have it. You can hold it in your hand. You can make it happen. You can bring it into the world. Steve Jobs had to envision and dream up the iPhone before it was a reality. Anyone that's created any great inventions, Edison had to imagine in his mind the light bulb before he ever created a working light bulb. And we all know the story. He had to fail 999 times before that 1,000th time he found the solution. He found the right filament that would work and stay lit. So you've got to have that dream party. You've got to every day think about helping Joe out, helping Martha out, helping whoever out.
Police reported ahead.
You have to imagine seeing those people, and you have to imagine shaking their hands and seeing the smile on their face and seeing how you change their lives, and get that feeling inside. Because that feeling inside is what's going to drive you through the hard times. That feeling inside is what's going to move you. That feeling inside is what's going to make you take action when you don't feel like you can take action. When you feel like you have no energy, when you feel like you're spent, when you feel like you've worked too hard. All of these things, that's what's going to move you forward. That's what's going to make you take action. That's what's going to drive you and pull you. Motivation pushes you, but it only pushes you so far, and then eventually you've got to retool that motivation. But your dream will pull you. Your dream will draw you into the future. Your dream will give you, you don't actually have to find the energy. It pulls you. The energy finds you. So imagine helping people. Imagine the good feelings. Thank you, RJ. Imagine those good feelings. Imagine how, you know what? And be a little bit selfish. Like, for me to want to help billions of people is totally selfish. And you might say, well, how the hell is that selfish? That's selfish because of the amazing feeling that that's going to give to me when I can provide clean water to an entire African community, and I can help 50 or 100 people at one time. I cannot even imagine the feeling that's going to give me. I can't even imagine how good that's going to feel inside. And that's for selfish reasons. I want to feel good. I want to know I did something good for someone. And then I think about my legacy, and I think about what I'm creating, and I think about, you know, how Rentec is going to outlive me by hundreds of years, because we're going to do some amazing good work on the earth, and you know, it's going to continue to live on after I'm gone. But I think about the good feelings I'm going to get. I imagine, you know, cutting a check for $1 million and handing it to, you know, a charitable organization that, you know, is going to do some good things for some people that are in need. I then imagine a $10 million check, and then a $1 billion check. Because 10% of everything that Rentec generates is going to go toward charity. It's going to go toward putting homeless vets into homes. It's going to go to providing clean energy. It's going to go to providing water and food sources for those that don't have access. And that's what drives me. That's what pulls me. And I think about that every day. I think about Joe. I imagine Joe, and I imagine that being the starting point. I imagine that being the platform that moves us forward and gets us recognized and allows me to help 5 more people, and then 10 more people, and then 50 more people, and then 100 more people, and then 1,000 people at a time. Hand you a check. I'll hand you a check, RJ. I absolutely will. When you tell me how you're going to help 100 people, I'll cut you that check. But it can't be for you, and it can't be for me, right? It has to be because we want to do good in the world, and we want to have to help people. But I'll cut you that check, and you'll feel good about helping those 100 people. So, remember, dream it here. Never give up on your dream. Live that dream, eat that dream, sleep that dream. Dream that dream. Have in your mind the person that you want to help. Have in your mind the person that you're going to change their life in a positive direction. And how you're going to move the needle forward on your relationship, or your business, or your network, or your whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. How you're going to achieve your goals. But those goals aren't selfish goals. Those aren't to make $1 million. Those aren't to make $1 billion. Those goals are so that you can help others. Those goals are in service to others. And when you're in service to others, that's what's going to drive you. That's going to move you more so than just you want to buy a Lambo, or you want a bigger house, or you want to have a boat, or you want material things. Now, there's nothing wrong with those material things. Don't get me wrong. I want my own private jet so that when I go to Africa and I help those, you know, that small community with their own atmospheric water generator, or tower gardens, or whatever it is I'm providing them, I want to travel in style. I want to make sure that I'm as comfortable as possible. So there's nothing wrong with the material things, but those material things, once you gain them, the goal is over, and, you know, what then? And do you feel, you know, fulfilled, and do you feel satisfied, and do you, you know, or do you want more? And so that only gets you so far. So have the cars, and have the jets, and have the house, but do it in service of others, so that at the end of the day you feel fulfilled, and you feel satisfied, and you know you did something for someone else and not just yourself. All right, I think I've gone on long enough. Thank you, RJ, for jumping on live. And thank you, Valerie. I appreciate you guys jumping on. I appreciate the comments. Guys, if you're watching this on the replay, please like, share, and comment as always. Check out our other social media platforms. We've got tons of other social media platforms. I'm posting these videos now on YouTube, as well as LinkedIn and TikTok and Instagram and all of the major social media platforms. Rentec has business platforms for that, and we've got I do some personal stuff on there as well. So feel free to check that out, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Guys, thanks for jumping on live. Everyone else, thanks for watching replay. Another thing is, make sure you put in #replay if you're watching it on the replay, so we know that you caught up with the video. And you please comment if you liked what I had to say. If there's anything you want me to comment on, if you think I'm too long-winded, because sometimes I think I am. And so feel free to comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourselves. Have an absolutely fantastic day.